Welcome to the deep dive. So you sent us a whole stack of sources on the SAP Business Technology Platform, or BTP.
We did.
And what we heard back from you is something we hear constantly. This platform is incredibly powerful, but trying to navigate its components, well, it feels like wandering through a massive skyscraper built by 1,000 different committees.
That's a perfect analogy, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really our mission today. We're going to try and cut through all those layers of complexity.
Give us the blueprint.
Exactly. We want to deliver the core architectural insights, the secrets of the data engine, and maybe most importantly, the crucial trade-offs that you face as an architect or a developer. This is all about understanding how BTP fundamentally reorganizes the modern enterprise.
Okay, so let's start with the official definition just to, ground ourselves.
That's a great idea.
SAP BTP, it stands for SAP Business Technology Platform. It's pitched as this all-in-one cloud platform.
Right, combining database management, data analytics, application development, and integration, all of it. The goal is to accelerate that big phrase, digital transformation.
But the key structural takeaway here is that it's really organized around 4 foundational pillars. These are the main service categories.
That's it. If you get these 4, you really understand the scope of the whole platform. So first up is database and data management.
Dominated by SAP HAI Cloud.
Right. Second, you have analytics, and that's primarily delivered through SAP Analytics Cloud. Third is application development, all the tools for building your own custom cloud-native solutions.
And fourth, the exciting one, intelligent technologies.
Yeah, that's where all the AI, the machine learning, the IoT integrations, that's where they all live.
So BTP is sort of the brain in the toolkit, but it's rarely the core system of record.
Exactly.
The crucial context here is its relationship with the big ERP system, which is usually SAP S/4HANA.
And this is probably the most strategic insight of all. You have to understand its function as an extension and integration platform.
So you don't mess with the core.
You never mess with the core. BTP lets organizations innovate, build new apps, use AI, run these high-speed analytics, all without touching or modifying or customizing that core S/4HANA functionality. It protects the core while giving you agility on the outside.
Innovation without disrupting the transaction system. I mean, that's the dream for every modern enterprise.
It is.
Okay, let's unpack the blueprint of this building then. Before we even get to data or code, we need the foundation, the organizational structure. How do we manage services and the budget?
So we start with the account model. It's the hierarchy that organizes everything. At the very top, think of the global account as like the company headquarters.
Tied directly to the contract and the main bill.
Exactly. And below that, you set up sub-accounts. These are like the individual departments or project floors in the building. They isolate resources for specific projects or business units.
And I've seen directories in there as well.
Right, they're optional. You can stick directories in between the global account and the sub-accounts just to create more structure, maybe group things by region or by service type.
Okay, and when we decide what services those sub-accounts can use, we hit 2 terms that confuse people all the time: entitlements and quotas. What's the clear distinction we need to remember?
This is a great question. Entitlements are all about eligibility. They define which services a sub-account is allowed to use and in what quantity.
So that's what's in your contract.
Yes, it's the authorization to even install the software. Quotas, on the other hand, are the specific resource limits.
Actual consumption numbers.
Right, the metrics, like CPU, storage, number of service instances. Use quotas to control costs and make sure one project doesn't accidentally, consume the entire company's budget.
So entitlements are the potential. Quotas are the policing mechanism.
Precisely. Okay, so we've got the foundation, the contracts, the departments. Now let's talk about the critical infrastructure, which is a huge decision for any architect.
Right.
The runtime environments.
Where your code actually runs.
Exactly. And BTP supports a pretty wide range of options. It seems like it's trying to cater to every kind of developer out there.
Yeah, we're seeing 4 main runtimes.
That's right. So first you've got Cloud Foundry. It's an open source standard, really ideal if you want abstraction, and you're using modern languages like Node.js, Java, Python, Go.
Okay.
Second, the ABM environment, which, it's the full ABAP runtime. It's crucial for companies that need to leverage their existing ABAP talent.
And third, the cutting edge option, Kyma.
Right, which is Kubernetes-based. It's really tailored for containerized microservices and serverless architectures.
Okay, let's pause there for a second. For someone who lives and breathes ABAP, what does Kyma actually mean for them? Is it basically forcing them towards a more modern DevOps world?
It's giving them the option. I mean, Kyma is all about control and scalability through containerization. If your app needs complex microservices that scale independently, or if you already have Kubernetes experts on your team,
Then Kyma gives you maximum flexibility.
maximum flexibility in how you manage your infrastructure. Cloud Foundry, by contrast, handles a lot of that underlying stuff for you. You just upload your code and it runs. You're trading that maximum control for simplicity and speed.
That distinction is so key. So BTP is forcing an architectural choice. Simplicity and abstraction with Cloud Foundry, or full control and containerized complexity with Kyma. It really depends on the skills you have.
Exactly. And we should, just briefly mention the fourth runtime, Neo.
Right.
It's the original classic SAP runtime. It's now considered legacy and is being actively phased out.
Good to know for anyone dealing with older apps.
Yeah.
For context,
All right, now we get to the power supply of this whole building, the data. When we talk SAP, we talk HANA. SAP HANA Cloud is foundational. We hear in-memory architecture all the time, but what's the real measurable difference it makes?
The difference is eliminating data latency.
Yeah.
This is the aha moment for so many people. See, traditional systems had to separate transactional processing updating records, what we call OLTP,
Right.
from analytical processing running complex historical queries, or OL. You'd have to replicate data overnight, move it to a separate
It's
warehouse.
slow.
Very slow. HANA Cloud uses an in-memory columnar storage structure that lets you do both OLTP and OLMP simultaneously on one system.
So no more waiting until the nightly batch job runs to see the impact of today's sales figures.
Precisely. You are updating a transaction and running a complex profitability analysis on that exact same data set in real time. That capability just transforms decision-making from being reactive to being immediate.
And feeding that real-time engine, we have the modern data layer, SAP Datasphere. We know it's supposed to break down data silos, but how does it specifically help a business user get value without calling IT?
Well, this brings us to the semantic model. A semantic model is basically a translator.
A translator.
Yeah, it maps all these super technical database tables and structures, all the messy details to intuitive business terms. Things like customer hierarchy, sales margin, or planned revenue.
Ah, so you define those business terms once.
Right. And by defining those entities and measures clearly, you enable governed self-service analytics for everyone.
That's a powerful insight. So it means a business leader could bypass IT for routine reports and cut the reporting time from, say, 3 days to 5 minutes because the data is already defined for them.
That is the strategic goal. Datasphere creates this governed data fabric across the whole organization, pulling data in with standard ETL tools from both SAP and non-SAP sources, and ensuring quality before it ever hits the analytics layer.
Okay, so once that data is structured, the intelligence takes over. And that's where SAP Analytics Cloud, or SAC, lives.
Yep. SAC is the front-end interface. It offers comprehensive business intelligence, corporate planning, predictive reporting. It's where those semantic models really shine. It lets users build real-time dashboards and run planning scenarios, often with embedded machine learning for forecasting.
And speaking of machine learning, we can't ignore the massive push for generative AI across the whole SAP suite, SAP Joule.
Joule is the integrated enterprise AI assistant, and it uses large language models, LLMs. Its value is all about context. It's not just some chatbot.
Right.
It actually understands the structure of your SAP data and your applications. So it can help users get insights through natural language, automate tasks, and just guide people through complex workflows across the entire BTP landscape.
It sounds like a productivity multiplier that's built right in. Okay, let's shift to the construction crew. How do developers actually build custom apps on BTP quickly and reliably? That starts with the SAP Cloud Application Programming Model, or CA.
TP is a massive efficiency boost. It's a framework that basically imposes standardized best practices for security, data handling, service exposure, all of it. It ensures your cloud-native apps are robust from day one.
And at the heart of CAP is this concept of core data services, or CDS.
Yes, CDS is the declarative language you use for data modeling within CAP. You define your entities, your relationships, your calculations once in CDS, and CAP automatically generates the underlying services for you.
So it generates the OData services, the standardized REST APIs, from those models.
Exactly.
So you model your data, and the framework just hands you a fully compliant API interface instantly. That's a huge time saver.
It is. And the beautiful thing is that the CAP model works no matter what language you prefer. ABA PCKey runs in the ABAP environment for your existing experts, while Node.js CAP runs in Cloud Foundry using JavaScript or TypeScript. Both get to the same result through that shared CDS modeling layer.
But not every new application needs heavy coding. We have this whole rise of the citizen developer.
And that's where SAP Build comes in. Build is BTP's low-code UCO solution. It includes things like build apps for visual app creation and build processes for workflow automation. It's designed specifically to, democratize development.
So business users can speed up the time to market for their own department solutions.
Exactly.
Okay, so once these apps are built, they inevitably need to talk to other systems, especially those older on-premises systems. The parts of the skyscraper built 20 years ago. We need a secure communication tunnel.
That tunnel is the SAP Cloud Connector, or SCC. The SCC is this lightweight, secure application you install on-premises.
On-prem.
And it acts as a reverse invoke proxy. It establishes a secure, encrypted tunnel from your BTP cloud environment directly to your internal network. This lets your cloud apps access on-prem resources securely without ever exposing those internal systems to the internet.
That is essential for any hybrid scenario. And once we're inside that tunnel, we rely on the SAP integration suite. We should probably differentiate its two core components, cloud integration, or CPI, and API management.
Right. Cloud integration, CPI, is the operational engine. It handles the actual integration flows, the data transformation, the message routing. If you need to map data from an SAP ERP structure to, say, a Salesforce structure, CPI does that heavy lifting using adapters.
Okay, so CPI is the plumbing.
It's the plumbing. API management, on the other hand, is the governance and security layer. It focuses on creating, publishing, securing, often with standards like OAuth 2.0 and versioning those APIs.
So CPI builds the actual pipes, but API management is the security checkpoint and the access control desk for those pipes.
Precisely. And for making sure systems stay resilient when you're dealing with massive data volumes, we have SAP Event Mesh. This is key for asynchronous communication.
So not happening in real time.
Well, it uses event-driven messaging, a publish-subscribe pattern, to decouple the application. So if one system goes down, the message or the event is still held safely, ensuring data synchronization can happen without needing a live synchronous connection between the sender and the receiver.
And none of this highly interconnected architecture works if it's not secure. What's the foundational strategy BTP uses to ensure trust across all these layers?
The foundational strategy is defense in depth.
Right.
And this strategy just assumes that no single security layer is perfect, so you implement multiple overlapping defenses. This includes things like network security with IP whitelisting, then an authentication layer, an authorization layer, strong data encryption, all of it monitored by audit logs.
Okay, so let's just clarify the identity services piece here. Authentication versus authorization.
Authentication verifies identity. It answers the question, who are you?
Yeah.
This is usually handled by the SAP Identity Authentication Service, IAS, which enables single sign-on, SSO, and multi-factor authentication.
MFA, yeah.
Authorization then determines access. It answers what can you do. And this is managed by role-based access control, RBAC, which ensures every user only interacts with resources defined by their specific role.
The principle of least privilege.
Exactly.
And when you're dealing with sensitive, highly regulated data, what assurances does BTP give you around data protection?
Data protection is absolutely non-negotiable, so encryption is applied everywhere. It's in transit using TLSSL when data is moving, and it's at rest, so data is encrypted in storage, usually with AES 256.
And what about things like GDPR?
Well, BTP's architecture supports that kind of regulatory compliance through features like data residency options, so you can choose where your data physically lives, and really robust audit logs for tracking every single action taken on the platform.
So what does this all mean as a summary for the architect listening who's planning their next move?
I think it means BTP is the unified, the secure, and the extendable architectural path forward for SAP enterprises. The really critical takeaways are that you get real-time insight through ADA Cloud's combined OLTP and OLAP capabilities. You achieve developer speed through that standardized CKP model, and you maintain enterprise stability through that integrated multi-layered security framework, defense in depth.
That's a fantastic wrap-up of the platform as it is today. But as we finish up, let's look to the future, because BTP is not standing still. You mentioned Kyma as the cutting edge. Where is SAP pushing the platform next?
We're really seeing two major trends converging. First, there's this big move toward composable architecture.
So more modular.
More modular plug-and-play components. It'll make it easier to swap out services and tailor solutions very precisely. And second, the rapid and deep expansion of generative AI integration, building directly on top of SAP Joule. The future of BTP is about injecting intelligence and modularity into every single process.
Okay, so let's end with a provocative thought for our listener to explore.
Here it is. As BTP pushes this full AI integration into development tools and data modeling, how will the role of the traditional enterprise architect shift? Will it move from building the system to primarily governing the machine intelligence that builds the system for them? That, I think, is the next frontier.